Hold up.
Hello viewers, and welcome to the JF-17 matchups video, where today I'm going to show you how the JF-17 compares and matches up against other airframes at top tier. It's a unique plane with wacky upsides and downsides, which we will explore today and see how they affect the matchups. So without further ado, let's begin. First, let's see how it compares to the ADF. The merge is fairly standard. I go up. And I hope for Ibis to go vertical second turn so I can pull tight and get some good position. This is exactly what happens, and I'm able to gain loads of angle quite quickly. The JF has very good pull. I shoot, it was never going to hit. But here I reckon I can probably pull in. Ibis pulls a good line to avoid my shot, but I still have loads of position. At this point it becomes clear to me that going for a shot here is hopeless, so instead I neg-G to open the circle and gain some speed. When going down, the JF neg-Gs very well and gains a lot of speed, which can then be used to pull in the next turn. And as you can see, after doing that, I gain humongous amounts of position. I don't hit the shot, but that's fine because I need only do the same again. And from here, I just pull in and I've got loads of room to take the shot. Bang! There he goes. Now in this next round, we're going to go a little bit faster and see what happens. The merge is fairly similar, but this time I don't plan on attacking second turn and I keep more speed. Ibis does the same thing and goes a bit faster than before, making more space between us. It becomes clear that this vertical spiral is going to go right to the top. Position is relatively equal, but I start to develop a very small angle advantage. I go down early and have less altitude than Ibis. He's able to cut in slightly and gain some angle. But I pull in, cash some speed, and gain it back. Position remains relatively equal on the way down. And I'm keeping good speed. Now in the flat, I'm getting angle on him. I cash all my speed to try and get a shot. But I don't quite get lead, so I go for an attack instead. But it becomes clear I'm not going to get it, so instead of going for it, I bail out. At this point, Ibis tries to make an attack of his own, but I have enough room to just pull straight in. Bang! The result of that fight becomes clearer when you look at the turn graph of both planes. At a constant energy state, in the red box, the turn rates are very similar, which is why for the beginning of the fight, the position was rather equal. However, when the JF-17 cashes in speed to pull harder in the green box, it's got a great advantage over the F-16, which is why when we cashed our speed at the bottom of the spiral, we're able to gain such a big advantage and eventually kill the F-16. Now if you look at the same graph between the F-16 Block 10 and the JF-17, you'll see that the Block 10 has greater performance in most situations. Now what that translates to is that the Block 10 can then force any sort of passive flow or rate-based gameplay against the JF-17, and it can force this every time, and when it does, as you're seeing now, it slowly reels in the JF until eventually it will just win. And for this reason, the JF sits between the Block 15 and the Block 10 on the matchup scale. Now the last thing to mention about JF versus F-16s is one of the biggest downsides of the JF is its thrust to weight. Versus both models, if you end up in a stall position, your low thrust to weight does mean that you're quite likely to stall out just below the guy and die for free. Now I will say that a stall fight position should not occur if people are playing optimally, because either, the JF will kill the ADF or the Block 10 will kill the JF before a stall position could be had, but regardless, it's useful information to know that the JF-17 doesn't really stand a chance against the F-16 in a stall position, if you get to one. On to Mirage 2000 now, and the merge is again fairly standard, about 1000 and we go up. Anubis gains a huge amount of angle on the first turn, but the gun timer is still active, and now he's got hardly any speed, and we're still going 800. In this turn, I bank a lot of my speed, riding the blackout, and I gain a tremendous amount of position, to the point where I'm able to neg-G and pull immediately in for a shot on just the third turn. Unfortunately I miss, but it doesn't matter at all, because I have so much position, Ibis is bound to die in this turn. The JF very handily outdoes the Mirage 2000. Bang! Now the story is exactly the same for a rate fight against the Mirage. I sped this up so it doesn't drag on, but you can see the first turn, again Ibis gets a lot of position, but the gun time is still active and he can't shoot me. Subsequently, I have all the speed and I'm able to just very easily and very quickly gain mountains of position on him. I've got so much speed and I'm keeping it with neg-G until a point where, very few turns in, only 3 or 4 turns in, I'm able to pull and I can just blow him up. Bang! Now against the Mirage 4000, again it's looking rather bleak. This is a more aggressive fight and the Mirage 4000 actually has better low speed than the M2K, so this just goes to show that the JF has such a massive performance advantage, because in just 2 turns the Mirage 4000 is already dead. Now onto the Gripen, and we merge very aggressively. Position appears roughly equal around second turn, but the Gripen is starting to get behind me. At this point it's transitioned to a sort of scissors. But what you'll notice is the Gripen will just gain position on me. Ibis goes for an attack here, but luckily I'm able to pull out of the way. Ibis sees this is happening and bails out of the attack, giving me a very awkward position. I decide to pull a bit of lead, which in hindsight wasn't the best idea, but Ibis isn't reacting to that, and he doesn't pull into me here. I can see he's going to go for an attack, so I neg-G to try and get some distance and avoid it. But it doesn't end up being enough, as Ibis' attack is still pulled off, and despite my best efforts, I'm not quite able to pull out of it. Now into a rate fight against the Gripen, and what you're going to see is that it's not all sunshine and rainbows for the JF in rate fights. Only 1 turn in, and Ibis already has a huge amount of angle on me. I bank some speed and I aim to ride the blackout to keep some good speed, and I do. But come the end of this second turn, perhaps the position is equal, but I've used a lot of speed to get there. And from here you can tell that Ibis is just rating harder. He's got more speed and he's pulling harder. At the end of this turn I'm starting to lose angle, and now I'm going quite slowly, well below peak speed. In this turn here, I use some speed, I think maybe it's going to go head on, but Ibis cleverly decides not to pull in. So at this point, I'm going really, really slowly. You can see Ibis starts to pull in, and at this point I've got hardly any options, other than to hope he misses. But he shoots me before I can pull in, and that's the fight. Now against the F-15A. I merge very aggressively. And we're playing at spilly here instead of Ibis. Immediately, I'm pulling huge amounts of lead to try and attack early, and I'm getting good position. I pull a bit of lag to avoid Spilly's attack here, which I do pull off, and eventually I can go straight into a counter. I've got a great attack here, but unfortunately I just miss. But it's not a problem, because I have so much position. Spilly is forced to go for a counterattack here that he just can't make. And just like that, bang! Last round for the day, and it's going to be a slightly more passive fight against the F-15. Spilly stays very low on the merge, meaning that we enter loops in the second turn. I'm keeping a great deal of speed here, and at about 800, I'm able to pull in and gain humongous amounts of position in just the second turn. Unfortunately, I black out here, which means I can't shoot at him, but it very likely would have been over there. I continue to pull loads of lead in the following turns. Until at this point I see that if I neg-G, go straight for a bit, I'll be able to pull in with the speed I get. There it is, I go straight, and with the speed I pull straight back in. And get a shot on him, which I end up hitting. So, in conclusion, the JF is actually a very good flight model that beats a lot of things. It loses in stall positions to certain planes, like F-15 and F-16, however stall positions shouldn't be achieved unless people are making a mistake. Overall, it's a very decent plane, and a welcome addition to the game. Thank you very much for watching. Please join the Discord server and check out statshark.net for the turn graphs, and have a good one.